relate to a crowd this large in a long time. The single biggest communication problem we have with communication is the illusion that it's actually taking place. George Bernard Shaw. How many times have you communicated something so clearly only to find out that the person on the receiving end did not receive it in the way you meant? How many of you have thought you listened so carefully to all of those details in a meeting and walked out and found that you were missing things? For me, it happens more often than I'd like to admit. So fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, tonight I'm going to share what I have learned about my communication style over the course of my career. And in doing so, I am going to share with you also a framework for getting people to set up the goal of their message. And this way you can engage and use the correct communication style for the situation. Now, communication is made up of two different parts. There's the part where we talk, which is what we all think about when we say communication. But the bigger part is when we listen. It's listening to what's being said and what's not being said. In the Toastmasters manual, they identified 4 different ways or styles or approaches to communication. There was direct, initiating, supportive, and analytical. I did not have to take this assessment. I knew exactly what my communication style is. It is direct for any of you that have never missed it. It's direct, it's to the point, I get results, I drive change, I get things done. And in some cases, I am pretty impatient. In fact, people have told me I'm abrasive and intimidating. The description fit me to a T. But I learned early in my career that as a direct listener or communicator, when somebody would come into me and begin to talk, the first thing I would do is go into my head and start to fix or solve. So that's what I do. And in doing so, I found out that I missed many, many important messages and key components of a message. And I also realized that for somebody who was in an emotional state, I was missing the boat completely. And they were leaving my office thinking I was a complete jerk. So over the years, I found this communication model, and I thought it was really helpful. Because what it did for me is it got my people, the people who reported to me, I asked them, when you come in to me, tell me what it is you want from me. Have you ever been sitting there in a conversation and you're listening and listening and listening, and you get to the end of the conversation and you go, so what do you need? And they're like, oh, I needed. So what I've trained them to do is come in to me and set up what the goal of the message is. What do you need from me? And I've given you a handout that you can follow. This way, it allowed me to engage the appropriate listening style to the situation. The first thing I ask them to do is tell me what it is we're talking about. Do not walk into my office like this and say, hey boss, so, blah, 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 and I'm sitting there trying to figure out which customer, which issue, which case, which project. Please set it up. This is about Mr. Brown. This is about Project Store. Tell me what it is we're going to talk about so I don't have to try to figure it out. Then, if you're coming in because it's the gossip mill, the rumor mill, you're not going to believe what I just heard. Oh, you would not believe what happened last night. Oh, did you hear this? Or I'm just telling you something so that you're up to date. I'm crossing my arms, baby. I'm putting my feet up on the desk. I'm engaging my initiating style of communication, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy it. Because you just told me you don't need anything from me, and that's fine with me. If you're coming in because you're frustrated, you're angry, you're hurt, you're annoyed, you're excited. For me, when people would come in with that emotion, I would immediately start to try to fix the emotion and tell them they shouldn't feel that way, by the way. What I found out is that when I did not address the emotion within the first 5 minutes of our conversation, I was still talking. Blah, 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 blah. They had stopped listening. And they couldn't wait to get out of my office. And they were thinking, she's a jerk. She didn't listen to a thing I said. This is my greatest area of development in communication. It is my least natural style and the one I have to work the hardest to do good at. So now when people come in and I hear the emotion, I stop myself and I identify. You're frustrated. Oh, I can hear you're angry. I can see in your face, you're confused. That was really bad. That shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry that happened to you. And by acknowledging the emotion that I'm seeing, hearing, and sometimes you have to listen hard for what's not being said. Because sometimes it's that pause, it's that hesitation that you have to step back and say, so what are you not telling me? What's really going on here? So by addressing the emotion, then people are able to engage. And instead of trying to fix it, I started to ask 2 questions. What can I do to help? What do you need from me? And guess what? Most of the time they didn't need a thing. They just wanted to ventilate, and they wanted somebody to listen to them to complain and get it off their chest. I was a safe person. It was good. They were gone. I was finished. But supportive is a tough one for me. It's one I have to work at. Then they need a decision. They need a point of view. They need direction. They're delegating up to me. In that case, I am putting on my analytical communication style, because what I'm going to be doing is listening to what they're telling me, filling in what I already know, asking questions to fill the gaps so that I can give them the proper direction, make the right decision, or know what I've just said yes to if they're delegating up. And the final scenario, and the one that I hope never comes into my office, is, hey boss, it's going up and it's coming down on your desk in about 30 seconds. It's gone all the way up to the CEO. He's going to be calling you. And in that case, I'm getting my direct and my analytical. I'm getting everybody in my office. I'm getting all the facts, all the data, all the information. What have we done? What do we need to do? So that when he calls, I'm cool, calm, and collected and go, yes, sir, we have it under control. So these are tips and tools that have helped me in communication. They have helped me to engage the right style and the right approach at the right time. And at the end of the day, they save you a lot of time. So I hope you found this to be helpful.
Very helpful.
Thank you very much.